Ladies and gentlemen, you are now listening to the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. Cross the line in 3, 2, 1.
What is going on, my Impact Wrestling fam? Welcome to episode 129 of the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. My name is Geoff, and we got a fun one for you, man. It was a fun show that we get to talk about. We got some updates for you, including, let's see, we got Kenny King extending, Dango signing, crossing that line, if you will. Steph doing the same, we'll see. Tasha taking a break, and then a report of New Japan talent being heavy with Impact Wrestling. So we got a bit to talk about. But I want to thank you guys for joining me yet again. Haven't updated in a bit, saw Twitch going up, so thank you for joining us live every Sunday, 8 p.m., twitch.tv/TNAIWChannel. And, yeah, man, numbers are good. They are what they are, one fan at a time, one friend at a time, but more importantly for Impact Wrestling, so make sure you're watching Impact each week. Go over BTI, go over Impact as well, of course, and then those topics we said. So before we get to that, of course, I want to plug all the great work, the people... Hey, Burt Macklin 11, speak of the devil. All the great work the team does for the channel, and the amount of really cool gelling that's going on here. Of course, every Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. BST, you got Talking Bloody Nonsense. They're back and kicking, man. Numbers looking good there for them. And if you can see, I don't know if he posted on his thing. I'm not on Twitter too much. What's going on, Millard? But Craig getting to meet the world champion, the walking weapon. So happy for him. Lucha in the building as well. Yeah, man. Happy for them kicking it and killing it on Thursday still. If you hear that snoring, that is my cat. So I apologize. He's more of a mountain lion. But I digress. And then, of course, Tuesdays, as I was saying, speaking of gelling, Lucha joined the crew. It's Lucha, Burt, and Datala every Tuesday, 7 p.m., man. So they're talking their perspective, the top 10, which we're about to hit in just a second, voiced over by Datala herself. Speak of the devil, all three of you. What's up, guys? Good to see you in here. Yeah, without further ado, let's actually get to that. I'll tell you how you can join the Power Rankings, make a difference if you agree or disagree, and we'll go from there. So let's get into the Power Rankings. And we'll be right back.
Number 10, Bully Ray. Number 9, The Foundation, Jonathan Gresham. Number 8, Crazy Steve, EK. Number 7, Tag Team Champions, The Dead Dolls. Number 6, Kenny K.I.N.G. King. Number 5, The Black Widow, Giselle Shaw. Number 4, Ace Austin and Chris Bay, Bullet Club. Number 3, World Champion, Mickie James. Number 2, World Champion, Josh Alexander. Number 1, Callahan and the Design.
All right, guys, Io in the building as well. What are you guys thinking about the top 10 that was? You can hear their opinions, as I said, every Tuesday. As far as mine go, I think it's hard to argue, man. There could be some ups and some downs. There could be some champions that are missing that could be on there, but it's hard with the episode that was not to make the argument that we just saw. But yeah, obviously a lot that goes into that week to week, the show, a bunch of different dynamics. But if you want to join and make your presence felt on these rankings, all you have to do is at Burt Macklin 11 or at TNAIWChannel. Get in touch with any of us, join the Power Rankings, and after every episode, Thursday nights to Sunday afternoon, just get it in. Top 10, you can mute us, you don't have to talk, do whatever you want. Masalka, what's going on, buddy? Everything's coming up swinger. Yeah, so... if you guys want to be part of it, join it. I think we had some new additions this week, if I'm not mistaken. So pretty cool that that's expanding, and they're having a great time and killing it on Tuesdays, man. But look, that 1 to 10, and I won't get into the whole week-to-week thing of it. It's just, as you guys can see in there in the chat, from Giselle popping up there and her making a statement, Kenny King making a statement and working his way back into the dub column, Gresham making a presence, even on BTI, still making it. Joe Impact Live is the new addition. Awesome. Welcome. So yeah, make your voice heard, man. I think there's a lot of options, but once again, we're getting back to that point of impact where every segment is matter. Where every segment matter, you know me. Every segment matters. Every character is getting a little tweak or push or fine-tuning. And in the case of the design, you guys know my feelings on that, or where I was at the beginning and where I've gradually am getting to. So for Impact and for the design, and for Sammy, who's touting them every which way online, I'm happy. I'm happy they're getting recognition. I'm happy they're making an impact. But we'll talk about them. We'll see where that goes, and we'll see. But you can't, if you want to make the argument, make sure you write them at BurnMacklin11 at TNAIWChannel, and make sure you check them every Tuesday for GoGoPowerRankings. All right. So we already alluded to the BTI thing. We always love to hit BTI here. Like I said, the matches, if not only for continuity, they have a little storyline to them now, but you're getting some bangers. Each week, it's something that is must-see, at least for me, especially a mark for Jonathan Gresham. But before we get there, let's talk about Iceman Intel. And he's talking about what is Cardona's retaliation going to be? He wasn't happy. He wasn't happy about being Edge's bitch. So what is his retaliation going to be? We'll find out coming up in a few segments. But do you think he was successful? Do you think that was the equivalent of Edge's bitch? I don't know. We'll talk about that. So for BTI, what they've been doing is Gia has not been on the show regularly with Josh, at least for the past 2 weeks. She's been doing commentary. They made a little talk. They had a little riff about that, or talk about that on air, Gia and Tom. So I don't know if it's going to stick or that was just them playing it up or what the deal is. But I like Gia on commentary. They got a gel, obviously. It's only week 2, but I think anything Gia does is a must-see segment. And for someone who is supposed to be, obviously we say this about the refs and then the backstage announcers and so on and so on. But for someone who has been kind of just not taking away from what she does, but is supposed to just be there to enhance, right? She's there to enhance the talent she's interviewing or whatever it may be. BTI, same thing. She just gets over whatever she's doing and is just an added bonus to those segments. So really dig the work of Gia here. And for this match, it's Jonathan Gresham picking up the win against the returning Aiden Prince. We've seen a little bit more of him if you're watching the online footage as well. But I thought this was a fire match. Glad to see Aiden Prince getting some play here as well. These enhancement matches, or squashes, if you will, have really been showcasing some of the players that we're going to see throughout the show. And I think there's a reason to that. I think these people like Ashley Dubois, Aiden Prince, Sheldon Jean, I think these people are going to get some play for one reason or another. Conspiracy hat or not, a bunch of them are Canadians, but we'll talk about that. Either way, Jonathan Gresham back in the win column here, and I say the same thing about Jonathan Gresham each week. One, it was a big pickup for Impact. 2, it's a statement that people are seeing that there is opportunity within Impact to grow, to show. So glad he crossed that line. But he gets to pick up the mic here and gets to show off a little more. I think that was the biggest gripe with a lot of people, and besides size, that people can't stop mentioning now that he's not in AEW, which is interesting. But he gets to talk a little bit here, which I like. Once again, I think you just give him some time and let Impact do their work along with him, and he'll be just fine. And there was a little bit of talk X Division and World Title play between the commentators, so we'll see where where his ceiling is. But like I said, man, and this is the biggest compliment I can give, his floor seems to be Dean Malenko. And as a mark for Dean Malenko, I'll keep tooting that horn. So happy to have him on board. And I might be single-handedly keeping Gresham on the, on the top 10, but hey, I'm gonna be honest. Now, one thing I do want to mention, because I think this is something we've been clamoring for since Bound for Glory, is we got the hard cam back, right? We got it right. Well, we always have a hard cam, but we have it on the fans. Now, I see people complaining, why isn't this every week? Not making excuses, but we got to be unbiased, truthful, and honest here. It's the venue. It's simple as that. Impact doesn't have a trucks like WWE or AEW to the point where they're going to be hauling bleachers around. They are going to make the show, the Impact Zone, form to what venue they've booked. To reach that next step for me, and I know for a lot of you guys as well, it's going to have to be where they can make the Impact Zone look some way, and then bring that to each place they go. Of course, we want to overhaul on the stage and all that. I've talked about that extensively as far as what I think would be cool. I think they can actually take a step back and not be lower budget, but have that ECW feel to it. So the Impact Zone feels, maybe it's just a tunnel. Maybe we buy those tunnels back finally. But either way, the hard cam is a success, being on not only on the ring, but the backdrop being the fans. Unfortunately, we're not going to every place that has bleachers, but I hope that's the next step. Purchase them or do what you have to do to set it up to look like that every time. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the look, and I want to make sure I point that out. Lighting was good as well. They've just done a good job for so long for at least for me, is letting the story and the action carry it. But now once we're getting to a point where that's kind of the norm for Impact Wrestling, you got to take those next little big steps, and I think the set in getting that hard cam is one that everyone would be happy for. Very old TNA. Wish the banner was in the back. The ticker was in the crowd, but other than that, man, really, really dug it. But Jonathan's going to grab the mic, as I said, and issue an open challenge, but directly towards Speedball Mike Bailey. So no surrender. We can, and most likely are going to get Jonathan Gresham for Speedball Mike Bailey. How about that, right? So now we're going to the main show here. And we're starting, I always say they like to bookend the show, main event and main event. And from the action, the ring, I think it'd be hard to argue with that because, first of all, we're getting the rise of Ace and Bay, as you guys have been clamoring for, as we, of course, wanted. There's obviously some contractual things there. There might have been some other things backstage, but it all got worked out. The rocket is being strapped to their back. And the sky's the limit. I know we talked about wanting the Bullet Club to win those belts as soon as possible, but these kids, for this to make the biggest impact, there needs to be some juice behind it. And picking up these dubs from the major players last 2 weeks ago, and now Kushida and Knight, we're getting there. Let's build that momentum so the day when they finally uncrown the Motor City Machine Guns, it's a big damn deal. And of course, I want them to rise to the highest that they're allowed to do. But certain things take time. And I think these are two dudes who I always compare to Ace Austin and Chris Bay, to my AJ and Daniels of this millennia, right? Or this era. I don't know. But with that being said, if I believe that they're foundation pieces, we're going to want to look back on these moments. We're going to want to look back on the rise of them and say, oh, that was a great whatever. So let's do it right. Let's make the time right. If it's a bigger, situation. If it's Vegas, let it be Vegas. Okay, I get that. But we'll see. Now, as far as Kushida and Knight, man, what I really like here I took out of this was two things. One, New Japan does business the right way. And I mean that with not only, how they take care of Impact on their television and what they allow Impact to do with the Bullet Club and so on and so on, and who they give Impact, but the dubs and the L's. And I know that matters to a lot of you, and I think this is something that we should note here, that they take care of us in that way as well. We had Kushida and Knight getting the win the previous week against the Good Hands, but they're taking the L here against Bullet Club to elevate them. I dig this. Respect to New Japan. And that's why, especially we'll talk about it with all the New Japan talent supposedly coming in, I don't think this New Japan Strong thing is just cut and dry. Hey, it's going to AEW. That's what it is. I don't know. Now I see IO saying saying that New Japan trusts Impact with using their young guns, and that's huge. We're not that long ago where New Japan didn't even want to talk to us, where they gave us their future, and we stomped all over it. Luckily, I think he came out of it okay. I'm not sure. Kid named Okada, did he? Yeah. All right. But either way, and Rocky Romero just recently giving the love to Scott D'Amore for being the one that rehabilitated that relationship. But they do trust us. And what I have here and I know I joke my notes every week, but I do have 2 words that I wanted to mention with Kevin Knight here. Is there's a lot of times, especially being 36, where I can look over the course of wrestling or see a new dude come up and say, oh man, okay, there's a glitch in the matrix here. He's got the look of this person, got the athleticism of this, he can become this, da-da-da-da. There's a lot of people who are, 1A or 2.0s or 3.0s of certain people, but the agility, the size, the look of this dude, when he puts it together, man, he's unique. I like this Knight kid. Don't know what New Japan or obviously I'm self-admittedly the Impact guy when it comes to wrestling, but the sky's the limit, man. Burt Macklin has the look of a star. I think he does. Who am I? I don't know. But when it comes to wrestling, but if you can't watch that match and have that same conclusion, I don't know what you're watching. I think that dude has it, man. So Kevin Knight, keep an eye on him. Happy to see him in Impact Wrestling, and we'll see. Maybe he sticks around for a bit. Next up, the Design and Callahan here. My thing about them for so long was it felt forced. If it wasn't organic, the crop it didn't feel like a cohesive group. It was nice to see Big Con sign. It was nice to see him talk about how they're gelling and trying to figure out that chemistry. So they know they're not clueless to what they're putting out there, and that they're trying to find their niche and have all the personality shine. And I think this is the closest we're getting to that, or have gotten to it so far. And it's been a short period of time, but and I still think there's a ways to go. I still think there's the look of it. Diener's, I think he's found the tone of where he needs to speak in his stuff. Still don't like the farted smelling face. Always smiling. But all the other stuff he's starting to hit. I like his gear. I like Khan looking good, man. Khan getting to talk and be a part of this. So I think they have a good thing started. It's reassuring to hear Callahan say that they have big plans for this. He's really high on Diener as well. I love Diener. I've never said anything but. I just said that I think it's going to be hard for him, as it was for Eric Young, who, once again, top notch. We'll never say anything bad about Eric Young, so it's not a slight. It just, when you do comedy or lackey for so long, to take that next step can be very thin line between Violent by Design and World Elite. Okay? And at first it felt like this might be his World Elite. But now, and maybe it's because you have a primetime player like Callahan who's being selfless and trying to get this group over and being that wall for them to reverb against and figure it out. It's starting to gel, man. I like the 7 steps thing, the 7 deadly steps. I said from the get. I also like the snake because I feel like that's the way Diener should go. I don't like the name. Once again, it's hard to take him seriously with Diener as his name. But the person can do it. He's showing that. He's getting praise from everyone up and down the roster. I think this is their guy. I know you guys had said for a while that maybe he'd just be the spokesperson, the manager, if you will. I don't see that. I think they think this kid is going to be a guy, a player. And I'm cool with that. He's got the brain. He's a good dude all around. He's falling into this character. It's becoming more organic. And I like the preacher aspect of this, man. The 7 deadly sins. If they get 7 people and they all represent a sin or something of that nature, we're going towards that. I don't think you need to be that specific. But they're finding their niche. They're finding their sweet spot. And according to Sammy, we're in for a hell of a ride. So let's see. Let's see where it goes, man. But shout out to them for not, look, I don't think they were ever going to throw it away and whatever. They were going up against a lot to begin with. You lose Eric Young. Diener's got to step into a role. You're racing the Violent by Design, but you're coming with just the design. So it's a whole thing. But I'm glad it's starting to click. Speaking of new people coming in, Steph DeLander. So, self-admittedly, not too familiar, but from NXT 2.0, it seems like had a different look, coming in here with closer to a real name and a different look. They're stacking this Knockouts division. I don't know if it's crossed the line time yet. We have it ready just in case. But after that damn Anthony Green, it's already off the roster page. I'm holding off a little bit. I'm holding off. Lucha said, they made it to number 1G, so we're on the way with the design. Yeah, that's a small sample size of people. They also got the win in the main event, so number 1 makes sense. As far as getting over, we'll get there. We'll get there. Picking up steam, and that's all we can ask on. Rome wasn't built in a day, right? But yeah, so Steph DeLander's coming in. Gonna jump up ahead because I want to tell you where it's obviously headed next week. And you guys all know Jordan Grace was with Gia a few segments later and said, obviously have some stuff with Mickie still to handle. But next week, if Steph wants to make an impact, let's start with me. So she's going to get Jordan Grace right from the get. So let's see how that plays out. Either way, I'm excited to get a look at her. I only hear excitement from everybody. So that's a good thing. And Image is ready just in case. But let's keep going here because next we're back in action. And it's Giselle Shaw with Jay Vidal, who I got to get a picture of him thrown onto that thing, by the way, into her image for the top 10. But they're going to face Savannah Evans, or she's going to face Savannah Evans. And, it's a good showing for both here. I thought that we were going to pair these two. Savannah, obviously, we already talked a little bit about it. We'll talk about it later. Tasha taking a break. Savannah needing something to do. And I thought maybe we keep the tag team Hope Alive. The Black Widow thing, didn't see that coming. I'll get to that in a second. But I thought Giselle, after breaking up a bunch of tag teams, would then grow hers. And then be the first person who was, I need those belts. I want those belts. I've been chasing those belts for so long, and now it's going to finally work because I'm taking control. But it's quite the opposite. Because after picking up the win against Savannah here, with no love lost, she picks up the mic and proclaims herself the self-proclaimed Black Widow. Now, a couple things pop in. One was, okay, so moving on from the tag division, there's maybe. So it seems in the time she's trying to put the spotlight back on her. 2, it's a lot of monikers she has. She's the spotlight's always on me, is about me. I'm the quintessential diva. I'm the Black Widow. It's a lot. We're getting a lot here. But hopefully add some substance in some steam behind her, because she should be in the title picture. And now that I know that Mickey's not going to lose and be gone, who knows when she loses? And to build up some more contenders right now is a good thing. So I like this for that. The only thing that scares me about her calling herself the Black Widow is that her example of Black Widow is not just breaking up tag teams. It's people then leaving. Okay? So who's a knockout whose contract's running up? I don't want to start anything. Obviously, I don't want to wish anything or manifest anything in existence. I want Deanna to stay. I think Deanna will stay. She's a foundation piece for this. But in case she does not, is Giselle the Black Widow here as well? I don't know. Or does this have something to do with tag teams? Is she going to break up the Death Dolls? there has to be a reason she's the Black Widow. It's not just because of the past. It's got to be the future as well. Maybe it's not. Taya, I see there. Okay. Feel like Masalko saying, I feel like Taya sooner than later. Io saying, let's just blame everything on Giselle. That's fair. But either way, look, it gives Giselle a comeuppance. Her comeuppance, as they were debating on the show. And we'll see what happens. Taya never signed. Yeah, I think, and she's earned the chance to freelance or do whatever the hell she wants. But I'd like her to stick around, but we'll see. But cool for Giselle to get this moment. Sucks that no tag team is going to be formed out of it, but it looks like we're going to get a couple more coming up, and we'll talk about that. So is my for the knockouts tag was after this moment. Was raised, obviously, in a couple segments. So let's continue, because Kenny, King, thank you to Donato for doing that for me, by the way. He walks in, was it Aiden Prince? I know it was Jack Price, but it was Aiden Prince and Jack Price back there. And he's just being, Kenny. He's annoyed. He doesn't want Swan on their lists or what. I don't know what the hell was going on. But he was just annoyed with everyone. He took a loss, but he's proud because he's Kenny King. He's going to run into Johnny Swinger and Zicky Dice, and out of that, a match is made with Swinger not really getting much say in that. Zicky kind of setting that up. Moving on to what was a commercial on my end. I don't know what you guys actually got. Gail said in a recent interview that she wants to add to the women's tag division. I mean, they're adding a lot of new knockouts in there. That's why I want to be surprised if Steph DeLander does come in and stick around, or any of these knockouts to Ashley Dembois, adding depth to them, Geoff, you're the only Impact podcast to notice that was Jack Price. Oh, cool. Yeah, it's Jack Price. Where were we? Oh, yeah, okay. So I had the commercial for Bound for Glory in the package. Got to see Lucha again. Shout out to Lucha shouting TNA in the front row. But after that, we come back and Kenny King is getting his witch granted by Santino Marella. A fine DOA, might I add, man. Hook, line, and sinker. He's got me, man. I still think it's a hard thing to push every week. A face comedy act. It's gonna hit a wall. But right now, just like the Hendry thing, man, keep spitting into the wind and keep dodging that spit coming back at you, man, because that's what they're doing with this. Santino will pop up throughout the night. We'll get back to that. So Kenny gets his match against Swinger for later in the night. Macklin comes in and he wants a three-way. He wants to be part of the main event in No Surrender, or the co-main event. We'll see what happens. But he's going to get denied. Once again, this was my concern with Santino. How does he get out of? Does he have a backbone? And he does. His answer to it, just like Bully last week, no. Just clear no, and I like that. But what we are getting out of this, and I think this is a sucker for me, man. If you guys remember the, it's going to Royal Flush Challenge, Full House, what was it? That they did around the beginning or the middle or somewhere in the Hogan era when they started it, but where the cards, the tournament. Anyways, we're going to get some matches. We're going to get Myers versus Dango. We're going to get Rhino versus Macklin, as just they alluded to. PCO versus Shira, and Eddie versus Heath. And the winner of that will take place. The winners will have a match at No Surrender, a four-way for the number one contendership. I'm a sucker for those kind of things. Joker's wild. Thank you, Lucha. Yeah, I'm a sucker for that. Anytime you could showcase, just like the 6-shooter thing, showcase who is in that division or who you're trying to say has the ability to, even if the fans or whoever don't take them as serious contenders, it's a good sign. It's good to build that, show what the depth is so we can, see who the real players are. I'm sure out of those 4 matches, you can kind of pick who you think is going to make this, but maybe not. So after that, after Macklin, Dirty Dango, Deputy Dirty Dango steps in. New signee, Dirty Dango. If you ever doubt Impact in these comedy things, like myself, sometimes you just got to let it be. because the deputy Dirty Dango of the dictator of authority, or whatever the hell they're talking about, is just funny shit. And the fact that Santino, who people should generally be annoyed with, right? That's his thing, or was his thing, is just telling him to go away. Just go away. This I marked out for this. I was geeking out. Just go away. But he gets the match, so I'm happy to see Dango around. He's getting to go against Myers in the first round. I don't know what you call it. But I think Myers and Dango kind of go together anyways, and it looks like Cardona's on the way out. So we'll see there, but excited to have Dango around, and I thought this was good stuff. Next up, Crazy Steve, a Black Truce of Decay, is getting one of those matches, those enhancement matches. Sheldon Jean. Now, last week, it wasn't a dig, obviously. I put over Gresham every week. I mentioned I think he had good size. He was against Gresham, so I didn't know, but this dude's got good size, man. Do I think he's on Kevin Knight, like ready for that next? I don't know, man. I think there's some things he's got to work out. He's got a lot of Kenny King attitude to him, which I dig. He's got a good size, got a good look. He's Canadian, so he's got to in there with Team Canada. But he's got to piece it together a little bit. But I'm glad he's getting some play here, because once again, getting these kids in when they're young, letting them work out the kinks, puts an investment in them, and you get some talent. Another Scott Demore student, as Io saying. Yep, awesome. But Crazy Steve's going to pick up the win here, and then Trey, our X Division champion, missing on the top 10. Love him, man. Lucha saying, seen him live, confirm he has good size, pause. Oh, yeah, there's going to be a lot more of that. There's a lot more of that. Or hit you with a threesome. We're about to... But yeah, Trey coming in, trying to get the upper hand, and he does not. Crazy Steve going to take the spray paint himself. And I love this, man. Black Taurus and Crazy Steve both getting in on the X Division title, and with Trey continuing that storyline. Love the look of it. It's very aesthetically pleasing with Crazy Steve first Trey, right? And then Black Taurus lingering around. Dig it. This is the X Division, man. This feels like when that time when... And there was some great stuff before, don't get me wrong. The Asylum years and all that stuff. Gold. But when they started developing the characters around Paparazzi production right after that. You had Sheik Abdul Bashir, a little bit. Homicide. You had some names, right? I like this. Next up was what I already alluded to with Jordan and Gia. So we're getting Steph DeLander and Jordan Grace next week. And then Santino is going to meet up with Hall of Famer Raven. And he is asking Raven for advice. I don't even know if he asked for Raven for advice, but I will tell you this. The little I know of Raven's booking, or when he takes the book, his thoughts, this was pretty dead on. Give me the book and give me the belt. And funny shit. Dug it. Popped for it. And then if you have the Yeti, you have Reese coming out, man. Laying a couple lines. It's funny shit. Come on. Good to see Raven in there. Hopefully he gets to do some extra stuff. But make me the champ. Gotta make that shirt. Millard said I marked out for Raven and Yeti. Awesome. I love the flock. I'm a flock mark. Kidman. Love them all. Lodi. Good times. Sick Boy. Riggs. Who am I missing here? Good stuff. Oh, Horace Hogan of Boulder, right? Eventually. Oh, man. Let's keep the show going here. Now we're going to have a long segment here. This segment brought to you by Busted Open Radio. Busted Open Radio every week with Dave LaGreca, Bully Ray, and Tommy Dreamer. And Mickie James this week. Go figure. Saturn, Perry Saturn, yes. Of course, before he... And Stevie Richards for a hot second. Memories. Good times. So Bully Ray, look, I know we've had our back and forths, and at least I've had my only one way with Bully Ray, besides him winning the Royal, the whatever the hell it was called. The cup. Call your shot gauntlet battle royal. But this dude is just next level. The music hits. He comes out, his presence, the way he talks commands things, the way he commands the crowd. Age or whatever, he's a 2-time Impact champion. I could go on and on about this, but everything he does is interesting. And we'll get to one of the most interesting things he's done in a while in another segment. So he's talking the game. He's being dicks to kids, which is always a treat. He's talking shit about Tommy, always a treat, right? And then I enjoyed Busted Open. This crossover is killing believability that these folks coexist for 3 hours. Yeah, they tried playing it off of LaGreca as if, they're the powers that be say we can't talk about what's going on here, yada, yada, yada. Tasha Steele's pops on Saturday episodes sometimes. Flava in your ear Saturday. Yeah. And that's why I think Tasha's going to be fine. We'll get to that. But look, I'm one for this. You got to pay to play. And the amount of stuff, the amount of rub we're getting out of that, plus getting Bully working with this. Look, you could call him whatever you want, a virus, if you will. But everything he is, just like a virus, man. He is stretched out. He's worked with the good brothers. He's worked with the good hands. Hopefully they could become the good brothers. He's put over Macklin. He's put over Josh in one way or another. Now, Mickie in that. Working with obviously Tommy's not putting over much there. But we're going to get to Masha. Just everything he does. But yeah, it's a busted open plug. And I don't mind it too much. A little long on this one. But talented people, and out comes Mickie James. I had to get that one in, man. God, look. The love I have for Mickie James. The love I have. No, man, she's looking fine. I said, just look, I'm so glad that this isn't, and I was wrong about the whole if she loses now from now on, she's, I hope she sticks around for a very long time. She's on top of her game. And, she's out there freestyling shit and putting on good segments. Mickie James, I see that as it. Yeah, that's what we'll go with. I like Mickie James. But I enjoyed this. I do. And I know someone mentioned it, so shout out to whoever did in the chat prior. Do I think this leads to Aldis? I said before, I don't think it needs to, per se. I think Mickie can handle her own and is showing her ability to, obviously. Not in question, but I think it could. It makes too much sense, right? Like this hardcore country, Tommy Dreamer and her thing isn't going to stick around forever. It's going to be them versus Good Hands this coming week. Wrap all that up. Good Hands obviously coming out, pushing that. Tommy making the save. And then we're going to have Santino and makes the match for next week. Bobby tells Bobby Ray, he is banned from ringside. Hardcore country versus Good Hands. So want to get all that in there. But yeah, look, Good Hands probably going to pick up another loss. But these are two dudes who would have been doing something, maybe on BTI, Ben Feather. I mean, Skyler was on the roster, not really on the roster for the longest time. Jason Hotch needs something to help him break out as well after the gut check and then the nice showings he had. So I think this is good for them, man. You guys can see what's going on in the chat. Having a good time. Shout out to the chat, guys. Thank you for rocking with this, with the whole crew each week and then me every Sunday at 8. I appreciate you guys. But yeah, no harm, no foul for the Good Hands. They're going to take some L's, but they're getting the rub no matter what. They're getting to be in a match with Tommy Dreamer and Mickie James. They're getting to play along Bully Ray. I see people saying that their jackets look a little aces and eights like. I thought it looked very Hall and Nash when they first went WCW and they weren't sure what they were going to do with NWO yet. So it makes sense. Maybe they don't have the thing worked out yet, but we'll see what it leads to. Either way, I thought that they look cool, man. And it doesn't matter to me if they lose. They're in the thick of things. And it's not where they were even 2 weeks ago. Well, maybe 2 weeks ago, but you know what I mean. Before Hard to Kill. So next up, we get Killer Kelly and Taylor Wilde talking backstage. Killer Kelly first, Taylor Wilde then joining, and Taylor Wilde saying, hey, you don't have what I'm putting down really understood. I said I'll be seeing more of you in the ring because I want to be as a team. So shout out to you guys who mentioned this before. I know Lucha being one of them. Killer Wild? Where are we going? What's the name? Let me know in the chat or in the comments, guys. But the Death Dolls coming in, they're going to have a laugh-off into a match next week. Death Dolls versus Kelly and Wild. Look, we get another tag team. I hope they stick. They have a good look. I think Kelly just dyed her hair black, too, so the black works with the red, everyone. The aesthetics there. Killer Kelly is fire. That is true. The Weird Sisters, Masalko saying. Lucha with the Kelly. Killer Kelly. Yeah, man. Good shit. And let's not sleep on Taylor Wilde, man. Taylor Wilde looking good. Love this. Let's make this tag team a thing. Let's put some gold on him. Let's Taylor get her 2 time. But they're going to be facing the Death Dolls next week. We continue. Johnny Swinger is going to get that match against Kenny King that he so wanted. And Kenny King's going to not even break a sweat, as they mentioned. Swinger continues to be 0-50. I hope he gets there, because I do want Dungeon back in sub capacity. We need one of those segments, you know. I could see a Dango going to the dungeon. I could see Santino going to the dungeon. So let's see if we can make that happen. Let's get those 50 victories, but glad it's not at the head of Kenny King. Excuse me. All over the place. Kenny's going to take the mic at the end. Not his best, but still above the rest, man. And he's saying everyone's got to take notice. Love to Jay Briscoe on the wristbands there, the wrist tape. Look, Kenny King, no matter what he does, is another thing like Bully for me, who just is captivating. When he speaks, you listen. When he walks on screen, you watch. He just signed the extension. He put people on. He put the management on notice. He put the champions on notice. Where do you want to see Kenny King? Look, of course I want Kenny to get the singles gold. Love him to win the DMC, win the X title again. But he hasn't won the tags yet. And I don't know if All Night Express are going to, that would be my dream. Love Rhett Titus and Kenny King together. But if that's not the case, who can he elevate here? Is it a Sheldon Jean, who I think that pairing could be a great rookin' vet tag team? DMC next, I'm seeing a lot. Kenny King should bring the Beatdown Clan. There we go. Once again, that's just like I said, Bully was a virus. That's probably the worst way to describe someone. But Kenny King the same, man. Whatever he branches out, it was Bailey, right? Not even say elevating Bailey, but making, Bailey after a big loss still feel in the thick of things. And Kenny has the ability to do that with people. Who is he going to elevate? Who's going to be next to get that blessing? So we will see, but Kenny King's putting on people on notice. Next is Masha and Bully, and this is what I was talking about. Bully he looked at Masha with so much passion, more than he ever laid for Brooke Hogan, mind you. And you know what it is? What I loved about it? You could say it was creepy or whatever. It wasn't a, for lack of a better term, sexual thing. It was the pure violence and brutality and no fucks given that both of these human beings portray. Him locking eyes on that, and of course he's going to spew his plant his seed and try to get her to, the disrespect, which is fair. But I love this, man. Now, for anyone who could speak Russian out there, I did pick up a little bit, just a little bit. I know she said, thank you for coming here, kind of sarcastically. Again, if you come back again. So I don't know if she was saying, if you come back again, I'm going to do something, but that's all I could really catch. Didn't go back. Don't know Russian besides for a few words. So if any of you know, but it seemed that it wasn't as like, oh, thank you so much. It was like, if you come back, I will. But maybe that's just me in my horrible translation. But let me know. Either way, look. Bully looked at Masha the way I look at Killer Kill. Oh my God, Lucha. All right. Throw that fish back in the water. For something with Masha, that I felt like they derailed because something else came up, and I still think that's Mickie needing to win there for one reason or another. Masha got put on plan B, what it felt like, right, for her trajectory. And to work with Bully, to now get to work with Mickie, win or loss, to still stay relevant within the top players, even though taking those L's and being a setback and not getting the way we wanted for her to come up, this is a good sign. And I'm happy with this, man. And these are one of those moments that I'll remember for a bit. I was going to say for a bitch, because I'm reading Millard's thing there. Masha said Bully was a punk-ass bitch. Okay. Was it? I knew there was a curse word thrown in there somewhere. And I heard it before. That's all I'll say. Was it bitch? Well, either way, this is one of those segments that I think just played beautifully. Even if you don't know what she said, it played off however I think they anticipated it to do. I thought this was great. Keep it going. Major players up next. Or should I call it Prestige Worldwide? This was bad for all the right reasons. Kudos to Cardona. Continuously take L's on the way out. Because there's no retaliation for Hendry in this video. Pretty bad. Pretty bad in the sense of intentionally bad. Myers' face throughout on the hooks. Good shit. Good shit. I love that there was only one person left after everything. It's just a good moment, man. These are the moments that feel very what you guys call it here of golden era, but TNA for me. Next up, we're going to throw it to Tom and Matt, and they're talking about, what's happened next week. But I love this. Kevin Kelly. Somehow Cardona is rapping in Braille, says Critical Sting 17. Love it. But Tom and Matt kicking it over to Kevin Kelly, talking about New Japan. I love this. They re-upped with Access TV for a year. Glad to have this live transition here to make it seem more, not just, hey, we're playing content after this. That's old. Gives it a little life. I dig this. And then, of course, next up is the main event. We got Josh, Kaz, Rich, and Yuya taking on the design with Callahan. Callahan picking up the win over, or pinning Yuya here. Yuya's still getting... I love this, man. We say, New Japan has crossed the line, right? We'll see. So, yeah, the design picking up a win here. Callahan including... knocking off one of the steps, it seems. But Yuya, even though taking L's, man, is one, obviously, our relation, we're still trusted here. But it's because this guy, he came in as a lion, young lion, right, wearing the black trunks. Took that next step. Got that Super Saiyan Team Canada Bobby Roode look going on. With the feathered hair, looking dope. Getting some quality action against the likes of Bailey. And I know there was another one that really shined for him. But yeah, I thought this, even though he took the L here, he got to fire up and show what he can do. And being on a team with Rich Swann, who's the number one contender and a former Impact World Champion, Josh, who is the current Impact World Champion, and Kaz, who was newly signed and is an OG of this company, it's not a bad place to be. Yuya, another guy who looks like a star, Burt Macklin, saying, yeah, I agree. Yeah, this guy's got what it takes. He's promoting, he's touting Impact Wrestling. I love it. Yeah, I love it. And actually, I'm going to use that as our transition to end this episode of Impact on Access TV review. Or this Impact of... whatever, not this episode of the show. You know what I'm talking about. Anywho, what did you guys think of the show? I thought overall, it was in the B range for me because I thought this was us getting to something else, but a lot of development here, a lot of people stepping up, a lot of showcase here. What if Kaz brought back Michael Shane? Oh, probably could use Michael Shane again, right? It doesn't have to be Michael or Matt Bentley. Yeah, that'd be cool. See what happens. Bring Tracy back with the Tracy bounce. Be good times. But what do you guys think of this episode? I thought there was a lot of good things. I thought there was a lot of positives, a lot of continuity, getting a lot of people on TV, and some funny shit. I went with a strong B. What do you guys think of this? I know last time I checked, Millard giving a nice compliment there. Yuya kind of reminds me of a young Tanahashi. That is a fair assessment. Loyal Hiveling 44, welcome. What's going on? So yeah, I went with a solid B here. lot of stuff I liked. A lot of stuff that's continuing to go to the places we want them to go. And if they don't necessarily go there right away, we're going some side things to get some new tag teams and some new people on board that hopefully add to everything. So really dig it, guys. Let me know what you guys thought of it. Salko saying, heads up, there's a 2-day collectibles event at Samtown, same day as Impact tapings. Impact has 20-something folks doing meet and greets over the 2 days. Salko with the good news there, guys. If you're in the Vegas area, go light up Sam's Town. 2-day collectible event. Hey, sign me up. All right, guys. So hot topics, guys. We're in hot topics, and there's not too many. We've touched on a bit, but I love using this time to communicate with you guys. Thank you, and send my love. Not anything too serious I want to talk about this week. It felt like, obviously, there was so much after so much. Passing of Don, the passing of Jay. Last week I touched on the Lacey Evans thing and wanted to preach a little love. And guys, the honest reason to that, for me, as some of you guys know, it's getting a little harder. I've been having some health things for a while, and we're getting up to speed, getting taken care of. I'm going to doctors. I'm doing what I have to do. But it's getting harder to kind of be present between work and everything going on. So I'm going to do this show until the wheels fall off. But I want to be, transparent and honest with you guys as far as why I'm being even more transparent and honest lately. I appreciate everything, guys. Next Sunday, Twitch and Super Bowl. Yeah, we'll take a break or we'll do a preempted show where I can tape and get something out there, guys, to keep this going. And it kind of plays hand in hand to everything. But my message to you guys, and it's nothing about me whatsoever, but it's this, is I grew up not having insurance whatsoever. At this point, I have insurance, if you want to call it that. But we were a group at, I broke my rib backyard wrestling when I was 15 years old, and we taped it up, wrapped it in some bandage, wrapped in, and it went about life. That's just me. I go to the doctor at the very extreme of things, but I want to tell you guys, if there's anything that seems wonky, you guys know your body better than anyone else. If anything seems wonky, and you have the ability especially, go check out, go to the doctors, check it out, see what they say. And it's better to hit shit early than it is later. And yes, the doctors can bankrupt us at times, but can't spend your money dead. So I want to be blunt about that. If you have the ability, especially, go do it. And as for someone me who's such a stubborn ass person, I have a lot of things, especially a little one, to do. So that's the thing I just want to put out there, because I feel like if it's on my mind, and we have some serious talks here anyways, I'm just gonna make sure I say how I feel, because I don't know who it hits, even if it's one person that says, oh shit, you know what, maybe I should check this out. Go check it out. Okay. But I love you guys, and I thank you, and I appreciate this time every week that you guys give me. Awards ceremonies going on, big sporting events going on, wrestling events going on. You guys make an effort to either be here or go back and watch. The number of you guys that watch in one watching on YouTube is phenomenal. I thank you for that. It's nearly 30%, so that's dope. And then the guys and girls who go back and listen and watch it, halfway and halfway. I appreciate that as well, guys. I really can't thank you enough. This was originally done for me. If you've rocked with us since day one, thank you, Malaya. I really appreciate that. We were doing this in hidden. It was just voice. I was uncomfortable getting my voice out there. I've always been a guy behind the camera. And then I got my face out there, and it was nerve-wracking. And then now I'm doing some solo shows, and I get to put on shows for you guys and talk with you guys, which this wouldn't have been normal for me in my past life, if you want to call it that. So I thank you for that and making it easy. Hasn't always been easy outside of this. We've run into some shit. But everyone that's come along my path and helped me get to where I am today with the confidence to speak to you guys, I love you. I thank you. And I appreciate you all. I really do. And the biggest thing I will say is every Thursday, 4 p.m., 9 p.m., there's, Talking Bloody Nonsense. And every 7 p.m. and 4 p.m. PST, EST on Tuesdays is GoGoPowerRankings. That is the greatest thing I've gotten out of this, is the ability to put people together and let them rock and roll and talk about Impact Wrestling, man. It's been good shit. But thank you. Let's knock out a couple things that we have here, and then we'll wrap this guy up. I appreciate you guys more than I can word here, man. But I do want to talk about the New Japan talent. Let's switch it up. Let's go back to that. We were talking about New Japan crossing the line, Lucha being the person there. I know we think New Japan it makes a lot of sense with the streaming platform of ROH and whatever for New Japan to kind of work with them. They got the money to make that happen. Will that make money? Will that break Tony even? I don't know, but I don't think that's necessarily what matters to him in the present. I won't get in his head, but I will say in mine, I don't think there's anything that says when New Japan says, hey, we're going to take a step back, reassess the situation, and present strong in a different way, our American events in a different way, that it's out of the realm of possibility that it's with the team in which your content is shown in the U.S. Okay. Lucha saying, get inside TK's head sounds dangerous as fuck. Yeah, I hope you're wearing a condom because he's got a dirty mind, right? Get him in the Greek. All right. I'm all over the place. So I don't think it's out of the realm of reality that New Japan does something with Impact, that this isn't just a, hey, thank you, let's keep our guys on here until we figure out that next step. It possibly is. But if that's the case, while we're rocking with them and they're rocking with us, I'm enjoying what they're giving us. Like I said, we got Kevin Knight out of that. We've been getting Yuya Uemura, who they even say is their next, uncrowned king of New Japan. So I could see that, man. Would it have anything to do with Impact Plus and YouTube Insider and all of that, Access TV? I don't know. I haven't really thought about this any past the fact that I think if there's a will, there's a way. But at the end of the day, it has to be for reach for New Japan, right? Or is it about partnership? Obviously, we can't on one hand say that it took so long for TNA to get out that stink so Scott can rehabilitate the relationship between Impact and New Japan, yet then say New Japan only cares about the money and glory. If TK rubbed them the wrong way at some point, do they take a step back to rest on their laurels? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think we could say both. Now, granted, it depends how good the money is maybe, but who knows? Either way, I'm excited that New Japan's still here and still rocking with us. Millard giving a shout out to Steve Macklin there for being Pro Wrestler Revolve World Champion. And also the Destiny Wrestling World Champion. Yeah, it's like the Impact management team is preparing him for something bigger, right? Isn't the Bullet Club the champions of Pro Wrestling Revolver as well? It's like they're preparing them for greatness, right? But speaking of someone who's not here and is actually at home, we're talking about Tasha. I saw a lot of people, and I laughed at that last week because she did re-up. We all know she re-upped. People taking that seriously, that she's taking a break. She's trolling y'all. She's with Impact. Won't dive into anything of guessing why she needs a break. People need breaks. Could it be for mental? Maybe. Could be for health. Physical? Could be. Could it be for other projects? Possibly. I do not know. So I'm not going to guess. But she is locked in. And I think it could also be very well be something as simple as Impact Management being involved as well. Not in a disciplinary way. But you just re-signed her. She's someone that they made a point to re-sign way before her contract ran up. Extend her before that. And there's a reason. She's a homegrown talent. She's over. She's been a champion. That next run is going to be even more fire because that's just how it happens. You know, you go back, you reminisce. Oh, this is what I would have done differently as champion. This is what the booking could see differently, how they could present her. So when she comes back, it's going to be fire. And I think that's the case. It's a lot of stress being the greatest who beat the greatest. Yeah. And being the Impact Bowling champion. Yeah. So one hand, Tasha's going to be fine. How she comes back is what's interesting. And now I know Lucha alluded to it. I know Millard was talking about last week, I believe, about this possibility, the pushing into existence, her joining the Bullet Club. Look, we thought it could be with Savannah and that would work. And look, I think it could work, obviously without Savannah and just Tasha by herself as well. Because if you have a trio, a BC 2K, Tasha, Ace, and Bay, it's a pretty damn cool trio. I don't know if Trey joins, but I think there's something else for him, hopefully, knock on wood. The Rascals is what's in store, Dirty Rascals, as I said before, just like the Dirty Animals, is what I'm hoping. I think that's very possible that those three homegrown talents could be the face of the Bullet Club in Impact Wrestling. What do you guys think about that? I think that'd be pretty cool. But I think that's what this is. And how she comes back is going to be a statement. They're not going to just slip her back in. Maybe I'm wrong. But there has to be something with purpose that she comes for. She's not going to just win enhancement matches. Maybe not. See the Loyal Hiveling saying that would be cool. Tasha and the Bullet Club. I think it's 1, 2, 2 sweet. Is that what it is? 1, 2, 2. Here. Couple other things that we want to get to, or that I want to get to. Kenny King obviously extending. Dango signing. Talked about Dango obviously being a good pickup in the comedy way. But the dude could go. Bell to bell. He's on that ABC 1-2 suite. Thank you, Lucha, coming in clutch. He's another guy that I compared to Myers last week in the sense of it doesn't matter what's going on or storyline or whatever. When it comes to just watching a match, these are people I like to watch work. There's purpose. The Filthy Animals. Excuse me, the filthy Rascals. That's what I wanted to be. There's purpose in what they do. The dance, pun intended, is smooth and tells a story. I like Dango's work. Could we see Myers and him get together? It's possible. Do we want them to be separate so they can elevate others? Possible. But either way, I think this is one of those pickups that we look back on and is like, okay, cool, yeah, I don't know how long it's for, but it's just he adds more than just funny characters, what I'm getting at. Let me know what you guys think of the pickup there. And then Kenny King extending as well. Look, this is just another example of people looking at the landscape of professional wrestling and seeing what's best for them, while also checking off a lot of boxes that Impact does offer. Yeah, you could go place for money, sure, yeah. But is Kenny King getting to produce here? Is he getting to teach a little bit? Is he getting the slot on the show that's guaranteed for him to rise and to help his brand, to elevate others in the segments he's in, to put on bangers that are going to be put out there instead of something on some random show? So I think there's a lot that goes into it, but it's a positive sign that these people who get a taste of Impact are sticking around. Because we could sit here and tout all day, oh, Impact Management's better, this is better. We're not backstage. So when you get these clear indications that this is where people want to stick around, it's a great thing. I see some non-wrestling ones in here. And we're at the hour and 5 mark, and that's why I want to keep it anyway. So I'm going to answer you, Lucha. I will answer you really quick. You're indifferent to Dango or Kenny King? Oh, to Kyrie. Look, I'll make this short because this isn't a basketball one. I would have loved to have done a basketball one, but life has taken me in different places. I will say this, because there's two things I'm in mind with it. Kyrie to Dallas for a first 2 seconds in 2029, unprotected, I believe it was. Dinwiddie back to the Nets and Finney-Smith. It's great for you guys, for Dallas. That makes a lot of sense. You re-sign him and Luka together will work. You need some forwards. You ain't gonna win anything this year, but hey, I've been wrong before. I think it's a win-win. I think it's good for you guys. Still like Wood up front. You got some things. The one thing I do want to say, because a long time ago, Critical Sting, you said something about Anthony Edwards being the next T-Mac, and I said RJ Barrett. My expectation for RJ Barrett, because of where he's at, and I've always been thinking about this, I wanted to make it clear. It's not T-Mac. I was wrong. It's more like DeMar DeRozan. That's who RJ's going to be. Could he be more? Possibly. But anyways, that's my NBA segment for the week. Let's keep it going to the end, guys. Make sure you're checking in with the rest of the TNAIW channel. Make sure you subscribe, like. Still trying to get to 400. You got 104 on views. That's awesome. Don't know about audio. If you're listening to audio, I thank you. It's not a lack of love for the audio listeners. It's a lack of knowledge when it comes to the numbers, but also because Sounders ending and there's a bunch of things going on. Anthony Edwards, a.k.a. Black Jesus. Black Jesus is Jesus Shuttlesworth, and he ain't no Ray Allen. Okay, different cat, but he's good nonetheless, Anthony Edwards. Unless he's getting a pass from Rudy Gobert, and then, who knows? And the 109, thank you guys on twitch.tv/TNAIW channel, the last two that have raised that for the... I know, buddy. For raising that to get a 109. That's pretty cool, man. Thank you guys for rocking with us. We're gonna keep doing this, like I said, to the wheels fall off. And I hope at the very least you're watching Impact on Access TV or YouTube, wherever you're finding it. Keep consuming it. Keep this community live. That's the only reason I'm still here, is to talk to you guys. Keep this little community alive, and then grow it. And with that being said, there are so many people that are great at this, that talk Impact Wrestling. Go find them. If you don't like the voice that I have, go check out Tuesdays first and Thursdays on here on the TNAIW channel, and then go outside out, of course. But this week on Impact Wrestling, look out for Myers versus Dango, the first of the No Surrender bracket matches. Cardona versus Hendry for the DMC. Hardcore Country versus Good Hands. Kelly and Wild versus the Death Dolls. And Steph DeLander debuting against Jordan Grace. Check that out, guys. Keep loving Impact. One fan at a time, one friend at a time. If there's nothing else, maybe Kenny King can form a new version of LIJ and Impact. Okay. You guys got it. You guys should just, join the booking team. Thank you, Masalko. Thank you, Lucha, of course. Thank you, Bert. Datala, Loyal Hiveling for jumping there. Critical Sting, as always. Millard, if I didn't say Millard. I don't know who else was in here, man. Thank you, guys. I love you. I appreciate you. Lucha saying, who doesn't love my voice? I should start a audio pod under the TNAIW. Hey, man, you could take this. You could take this in a bit. No, we'll see. Thank you, guys. Keep rocking with us. I love you. I thank you. Impact this Thursday, along with TBN, and GoGoPowerRankings this Tuesday. Bye, everybody. Goodbye.